me here. But what's up, everybody? It's Bianca and Brother Jolly, and we got a special guest in the house tonight.
I'm just here. Hey, y'all.
Bree Bree. We are live inside of Bianca Studios, and tonight we are talking about the recipe of
Money and marriage.
money and marriage. Tonight shall be a good episode because money and marriage is like, I don't know. Can you put them two together and make it good?
You can. I just feel like it's just how you do it and how the discussion is turned. But I feel like we're gonna make something happen tonight.
We're gonna definitely make something happen tonight because they say money is the root to all evil.
Yikes.
But I don't believe that it is the root to all evil. It's how you use it, how you misuse it, how you abuse it. If you abuse it, then it can be evil. But I don't believe it's the root to all evil. So before we even get started and get popping, let me just ask my brother Jolly, how your week been?
It was frustrating, man. I had to go do something with my daughter, and I was like, man, it'd be so weird doing like paperwork and stuff like that, like through the courts and through the state building stuff like that here in the state of Maryland. But I was able to have a successful ending to that day in the afternoon. So making some financial restructuring decisions and stuff like that in light of a couple different things. But other than that, pretty great week.
Pretty great week. Okay, so being a daddy of a little girl, how old is your daughter?
I got a 18-year-old, 18-year-old, and then I have a 8 and a 5.
Okay, 18, 8, and 5. Okay, so dad, you got them spread out, so you should know what it's like to spend money on them, what it's like to be a daddy to a daughter who
Well,
wants to
today I left up because I didn't eat nothing all day because I was running. So when I finally had the chance to slow down and I went to pick my baby up from school, I stopped somewhere and she like, no, I don't want nothing to eat. But when she with her mother, she be...
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Because I know when I had my babies with me, they always want something to eat. They always want something to eat. They always want mommy to stop. So how dare her give daddy an easy way today and not have you go in them pockets?
I was not mad
I bet you wasn't. I bet you wasn't mad. You should have been Gucci.
I want to give a shout out to Brothers Barbershop at 3416 Bel Air Road.
Okay.
Over East Baltimore. I go there once a week to get some me time in and stuff like that.
Brothers Barbershop, can I pull up on them?
Yeah, you
can. Because I'm trying to pull up in the barbershop. I'm trying to pull up. You remember?
Can pull up. That's what I'm saying. You can pull up on Brothers Barbershop.
I can pull up.
Yeah.
All right, I'm holding you to that. Y'all heard them tell me I could come. So when I pop up, when I pull up, don't be like, wait a minute, sis.
So one of the barbers in there, Zay's Supreme Clientele, he's offering every Wednesday half off for children. Every Wednesday, 3416 Bel Air Road, Brothers Barbershop, Zay's Supreme's Clientele. That is half off for children only.
Okay.
He called me, we was talking, and he like, make sure you put emphasis on children only. Don't just be saying half off for everybody.
Okay,
so I said, I got you, bro. So again, that's 3416 Bel Air Road, Brothers Barbershop, Zay's Supreme's Clientele in there, and half off on Wednesday for all children.
Okay, Zayd, you better really look out for them kids because Bianca love the kids. And honestly, I love when people do discounts for children because it's not just the children that you helping. You also helping the parent out with them pockets. And sometimes parents be wanting to get their kids' hair done and hair cut and can't afford it. So their kids be going to school looking a little funky. You know, so when you do something like that, you really doing something like that for the family, for the community. Because if a kid come to school and his hair ain't done or hair ain't cut, man, those kids be harsh. Kids be harsh on other kids. You know, so I love that. I love that. Shout out to you, Zay, for doing what you do.
And also,
he got a list. Hold on, y'all. Don't give me the list.
I bought one of my toys in today. I normally don't carry this on me, but I said I'm gonna switch it up today. So just to let everybody know, I am a licensed firearm instructor through the state of Maryland, and I'm a handgun instructor for NRA. So if anybody need any of that information, you can inbox either one of us and get further information and details about that. Again, I am a licensed handgun instructor My methods are a bit unorthodox, but everybody who took my class can actually say that they came, they learned something, and they went home feeling a lot more educated than what they initially did.
Okay. And they got license.
Yep, they got their license. They got their permit for the state of Maryland. I recently helped a couple people too with getting their permit and showing them, what to put in and stuff like that for the state of Pennsylvania as well.
Oh, okay, okay, which is a plus because
Absolutely.
Pennsylvania is our neighbor. So sometimes people be traveling, and I heard some
Yeah.
stories where people went from Maryland to Pennsylvania and got hemmed up.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's very, very important that you get that permit as well as in Pennsylvania because that also allows you to get access to carry in about 30 plus states.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You doing your thing. Okay, so so listen, if you want to get licensed, this is where you need to go, to my good brother Jolly. And he also will be the instructor for for Speak Up, Don't Touch, which is a campaign that we will be starting together for the voice of children suffering in silence, helping families to get gun safes in their home. I cannot stress enough how important it is for parents to not just get licensed to carry a gun, but make sure that they get a safe to put that gun up and keep it safe, because children are children and children are curious. So they, just like you get you a new gun and you excited to talk about your gun, you excited to show your friends your guns, your kids see everything, and your kids could happen to see you with that gun, put that gun up under the bed, or put that gun in the dresser, or put that gun in the closet. They watching. And if those guns aren't put away safely and secured into a safe that they can't just come and open, then unfortunate events can occur. So God willing, soon Brother Jolly and I will be doing workshops and for families and giving away some safes to families that come and get licensed through Jolly. So, yep, those are the plugs. Now we have a guest tonight. So, what's up, Bree?
What's going on?
How are you?
Chilling.
It's been a minute since you've been in the studio,
I
in
know.
the
I
playhouse.
had to pop back up real quick.
I'm glad you popped back up.
Was having a. I said, oh.
You needed a moment with Beyonka
I said,
and
I'm
Jolly?
chill with y'all real quick. I ain't know I was chilling with the new equipment. I don't know what's worse, boots on the ground or the gun at the damn Beyonka's Playhouse. But
listen,
for it.
It's a lot of people who think that Beyonka's Playhouse is to be played with. So I'm happy that Brother Jolly comes and let them know that it's not to be played with.
I'm coming with a bet the next time.
Look, you already secure. Anytime you come to the Playhouse, you are secure. So you don't even need to bring no weapon because Jolly got us both, right?
Absolutely. Don't make me pop the tailgate.
Oh my God.
So tonight we are talking about financial responsibility in marriage and all that good stuff. And anytime money talk comes to play in relationships, it can be an uncomfortable conversation that gets had. And I think it's important that people learn how to even introduce that conversation. But I wanted to start it off with some fun facts, okay?
Let's do it.
You ready for my fun facts? Because I was researching. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this one just because, and Jolly going to read this one. But in Islam, the husband is generally obligated to provide financially for his wife and family. The obligation is referred to as, what is that? Because, listen, I ain't even going to pretend like I...
Now fuck up.
Okay,
No fuck up, basically. That's what that was. Straight to the point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
Which includes provide for their needs. Listen, don't tell my daddy on me. That was Bria talking and not me. You know I be getting snitched on.
My bad, boo.
but it includes providing for their needs, such as clothes, food, shelter, and medical expenses. That did not say anything about Louis Vuitton purses or expensive vehicles. It actually ain't saying nothing about transportation, actually. And I got, okay, wait a minute. It didn't say anything about transportation, but it did say for clothes, food, shelter, medical expenses, and the wife can contribute financially if she chooses. It is not a mandatory obligation. Now, this was an Islamic term, but I said, let's look not just Islamically, but let's look at some more. So, which one is yours? What I give you?
Come on now.
Which one is the? In Christianity, in the Christian perspective, financial responsibility in any marriage is viewed as a joint endeavor reflecting principles of unity, stewardship, and mutual support. It's about managing resources wisely and intentionally, not just for personal gain, but also for the good of the marriage and the kingdom of God. The core idea is to be honest, open, and collaborating in financial decisions, profiting the needs of the family.
Okay, Christianity was kind of It was give. Go ahead. No, I'm not even gonna give one all of them. Go ahead. Tell me yours.
Okay. Jewish law establishes that the husband is obligated to support his wife at a level she is accustomed to, and the wife is obligated to contribute to the success of the household through household production or equivalent outside income. Shake that. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. And lastly, not that it's the only other religion, but I just wasn't about to write a whole lot of cards. But in Hindu marriages, the husband is traditionally responsible for the financial well-being of the family. This includes taking care of the wife, children, and extended family members. Hindus got it bad, okay? And lastly, in the LGBT community, Shay is responsible for taking care of Akira.
And that's it.
Period.
That's it. That's it.
Period. Okay. But no, real spill Holyfield though.
So I want to like tap into this, right?
Let's do it.
So
you ain't bring no snacks today?
I did.
She was ready for your snack.
Oh, I was ready. My bad. Carry on, brother.
So here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are under this misconception that, you know, it has to be done like this, is that, and the third. Right. Let's say you meet a humble, poor Aki such as myself, right?
What?
What happens is you can only, if I can only provide you with, for example, I'll go high, okay? Mm-hmm. If I can only provide you with $250 a month, and you say, or we say, like, hey, I'm okay with that, I'll accept that, right?
Okay, wait, before you go deep, and I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to make sure we starting at the core. Okay, so what you can provide when it comes to getting married, you're putting that out on the table before you're even married, correct?
Right. I mean, because see, here's the thing. People are just under this thing like, okay, well, a brother is working a job at one of the fast food chains. We're not going to do that today. So a brother is working at one of the fast food chains. So he should not get married. Why not?
Yeah, no.
Like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
So if he come across, that's what I'm saying. So if he come across a sister and it's just like, okay, well, you know what? I'll work with you. It's nothing wrong with that. He's still doing his job to provide. Mm-hmm. People have this false understanding that means that you gotta bust your ass 7 days a week to provide for somebody, and that's all you supposed to do. I'm a workhorse. I'm a robot. I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna come home and I'm not getting nothing out of it. That's not how it's supposed to be. Even during the times of the prophets, may peace and blessing be upon them. You think about some of the stories that they talk about. How the women during those times, they would sew. The women during those times, they was slaughtering. Now, granted, you was providing the goats and stuff like that to slaughter and stuff like that, but then the women would be home, like, maintaining them animals and stuff like that, whether it be milking them, whether it be skinning them, or just shaving their wool or their fur and stuff like that, so that they can make clothes out of that, right?
Right.
So people they got this false narrative that, women don't gotta do nothing. All women gotta do is just lay back and just. That's not what it means. That's not the concept. That's not what it meant.
Right.
So when you look at today's time, ain't too many women out here. One, slaughtering a animal. Number two, they not shaving it down.
Stores.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No, so
I'm messing with you though. I'm messing with you.
I get that. So it's like, okay, so if I can only provide a total of, let's say I can only provide a total of, after taxes and everything, I only can bring in a total of $1,800. Now I got a wife. She might be pregnant. So I'm bringing in $1,800 a month, and you like, well, I'm not going to do nothing to work with you, right?
Right.
Because this is your responsibility.
Right.
Okay, so then we have to live a lifestyle within my responsibility. But that same $1,800, and you know, obviously a little bit different because, you know, times change, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But that $1,800 or whatever that guy bring in, that's all y'all living off of because you're dead set on, yo, I'm not getting up helping you with nothing.
I get what you're saying.
Like,
yeah.
So it's like, yo, you know what? We gonna have to split this monthly bus pass. Real talk. I mean, this is how when you translate it.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. So it's like, okay, but what are you doing to push your husband along to help him get better, or what are you doing to push y'all as a family? Like,
so this is where I think the friction comes in when it comes into, you know, uncomfortability in a marriage. If you aren't, first of all, realistically, no one is comfortable with making the least amount of money, right? Nobody is comfortable with that, and I believe that the conversation that should be had with every couple is where we want to be and where we're going with this. Like, what is your goal for the future? And if right now you are working at low minimum wage at a fast food restaurant and your mate is not doing anything, is at home pregnant, let's just say, like you said, you know, then of course right now you can't really do much. Absolutely. But as a woman and as a mate, as your helpmate, as your partner in this marriage, there should be a desire to see some type of growth. So even being pregnant at home, you can decide to knit, make some T-shirts, make something, do something to contribute to the household. I love how one of these, I think it's the Christianity or one of these, something where it says like,
no, it said, are you talking about June where it says, and the wife is obligated to contribute to the success of the
success. I love that part. Thank you. That the wife being obligated to contribute to the success of the household. Like, that's huge because contributing to the success of the household means that you have to be doing something to better us, to keep us afloat. Not just even like you said in the older days when they were cutting the sheep, okay, and slaughtering the lamb. You know, you had to eat. So, you know, going out here and making sure that the lamb that you got was taken care of is important because that's equivalent to the success of the household. But absolutely doing absolutely nothing and expecting to have a successful household or a successful relationship, I think that's a fail in itself. Like thinking that, oh yeah, well, Allah say that I don't really have to do anything and you have to provide for me. Allah also say He also gave you the ability. Not only what He say, because I don't want to quote Allah at all, okay? But what I will say is Allah gave you the ability to have 2 hands, 2 feet, to be able to contribute something other than your mouth.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was probably
no.
My head went somewhere else when you said that.
No, I mean, so again, I get what you're saying, and I feel like that is the problem in today's society.
Yeah.
Like, people want to go, I mean, you got people out here that's like, okay, well, you know, so it's a thing called a dowry, right? Or ma, whatever. And the women, the thing, like, it was said before on this show. And I believe the brother had provided his evidence on the Islamic level, and he was saying that the brother is supposed to present the dowry.
Right.
But nowadays, you got sisters like, well, I want, and it's like, well, what if that's not in his means? You coming in the door, and see, my problem with that is because I heard those stories, unfortunately, where I'm at, I heard too many stories where sisters are coming in, and brothers just as goofy because they going for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I want this, and it's like, yo, do you realize that she's coming in the door already? If I don't know you from a can of paint, and we vibing and we get to know each other, we going out cordially, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know you. yet. So
Yeah.
how you just going to demand that I go into debt to provide you with something that I can't afford?
Or even the expectations,
That's what I'm
because I don't
saying,
like how
like,
a lot of brothers, and I've heard the stories as well, even personal stories that the diary is something like let's say we're in the year 2025. We are a 2025 Chevy Cavalier. Like if this brother that you marrying is driving a 1986 Oldsmobile, then why is your expectations or
that was
even
a
your
good year, by the
demands?
way.
Yeah, absolutely, because my boo was born that year and my brother. But why would your expectations even be to put on him that I want a 2025 Chevy Cavalier when this man is driving an Oldsmobile? So if anything, if you are working towards the success of your household, then that means that even though that's the diary you put down there, then that means that, you know what, let me put towards this, let me help contribute, because this is what I want for myself. So let me contribute in a way to where we both are building to be able to get this 2025 Chevy Cavalier. Yes, it's your diary, but your husband is your husband, your wife is your wife, and in any relationship, it is a partnership. So whatever I want for myself, the happiness that I want for myself, I know it also lies on my mate. And and if I'm making it hard for my mate to be okay, to exist, to be able to provide, then I'm making it hard for me.
And that's one thing when you look at Islam that it talks about. And of course, Allah knows the meaning of every translation in the Quran, but it talks about how He's created you as a helpmate for one another. So it kind of goes into what you're saying, but that's also why when I be having conversation with a couple of brothers, you know, they sway in this direction. And I'm not trying to anger nobody, and I understand that, you know, I'm Muslim, so I'm not trying to say anything, but this is why when I have conversations with brothers, they be so pressed like, oh, well, I don't want this. Instead, I'll go in this direction, Christianity, non-Muslim or whatever, because when you generally talk to non-Muslim women, this right here, this whole, you know what I mean, like, it's viewed as a joint endeavor. Yeah. A lot of non-Muslim women, like, they have that understanding. Yeah. Like, I'm not about to have this guy who I met, or I'm not about to have this guy who I'm interested in come in the door, and I'm not about to dump all this stuff on him. It's just that, you know, I was talking to a brother earlier, and he was saying, like, you know, he's no longer married at the time, and I think he has been married for like a couple of years. But, no, he is married. I apologize. He said that the sister he's with, she requested $200. And I was like, for real? And this sister, psychiatrist or therapist, so you know they need some money. And I'm not saying he's not making no money, but I'm just saying, like, you got someone who's, you know, generating this kind of revenue, and for them to patiently ask for something like this, you got to kind of start to look at, like, sis, you're putting pressure on some people because some people not there. But if we start off and we talk about doing something as joint and building, then we're going to go a lot further than we are, as opposed to, you know, somebody like myself who only bringing in about $500-$700 a month, who you trying to get.
He get a haircut every week.
Okay.
You know,
you
trying to text on a request or whatever, like that's kind of tough. It's tough. That's all I'm saying.
So, the financial responsibility. No, go ahead.
I'm just saying it's not my. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to anger nobody. I didn't make that statement to anger any Muslim sisters that's potentially viewing. I just made that statement to let it be known that some brothers, you know, unfortunately sway that way because of the sisters.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
And this is not to anger. I'm not trying to put Jolly in the hot seat, but it's a real question. Maybe you could answer too, because I'm Muslim, but I'm not in the Muslim community like you guys.
I understand. Go ahead.
Do you guys feel that Muslim sisters are less grateful? Because you know, a non-Muslim woman, right? Non-Muslim women are ready to get married. Like, you have some are like, they just waiting for somebody to come in. And Muslim men are perceived to be, not saying that they're not, I'm just saying what they perceive to be. They are perceived to be, you know,
decent
men,
people.
good men. You know, a lot of non-Muslim women are like, oh, I'm gonna get me a Muslim man because they're patient, they kind, they know how to take care of their women. You know, all these different accolades that they give Muslim men, right? Because they're the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So especially, no shade, but a lot of non-Muslim women be thinking that all of the men are like Nation of Islam men too. You know what I mean? Like they are. I get a lot of that, like the mixing, like, oh yeah, because I like how they dress, the Louis Farrakhan look, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so they are more willing to, I think, kind of be conform.
And
I want to say maybe conform. Is that a good word?
No.
As opposed to a Muslim woman who's raised in Islam, who's had a Muslim, who's been in the community, and she's kind of like, just like non-Muslim women, they sick of non-Muslim men. Muslim women might be sick of Muslim men, so they're less likely to be humble and grateful.
So I'll say this: I don't feel like they're ungrateful. And again, I had this conversation with somebody. I think that the challenge is at times with some people. Again, don't like what I gotta say. I'm just speaking on what the conversation's been about. I think that a lot of times women were taught to say, as a man, you're supposed to be getting, you're supposed to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but not to know how to, one, to reciprocate that, or two, how to not even necessarily reciprocate it, but how to treat and how to please and how to satisfy and how to be submissive, not on an intellectual way. You know, I was listening to another show, right, and this lady had broke this down, and it makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. But a lot of women, when you jump obese, like, what, man? You ain't telling me to jump. Mm-hmm. This is what the sister said. When I say sister, I mean black. She said, the problem is when they hear the term submissiveness or obedience, the problem is they get their panties all tightened up, they get upset, they get angry, they get bothered. But here's how you look at it. If you're submissive to your husband, mm-hmm. right, and he has a problem, and he comes to his woman and say, hey, what do you think about X, Y, Z? Now, he's taking lead. He's taking charge. Uh-huh. But is it him being submissive or is it more of a partnership? Because at the end of the day, he's coming to his wife and saying, hey, I need assistance, or what do you think about this? Do you think we should put $500 a month for this? Do you think that we should put $200 a month for that? It's not often that couples even say, it ain't even about the bank account. You can say, okay, you make this, whatever you make, I make this, whatever I make. This is what we're going to do. You're going to put up $50 a month, I'm going to put up $50 a month, or you're going to put up $100, whatever. And in 3 months, we're going to take a vacation. People don't think like that. People just, you work, you pay these bills. Yeah. I work, I pay these bills, yeah. And we get it in whatever. They don't plan stuff out. Yeah. But that's often the time. So again, I don't think it's necessarily a thing of ungrateful. I think that a lot of sisters, unfortunately, have been groomed to have an expectancy from a men as opposed to knowing what they're supposed to give. Because if you talk to some sisters, that, well, what you mean? I mean, I'm giving him companionship, I'm giving him this, or I'm giving him that. And it's like, okay, maybe he don't need you to give him anything. Maybe he need to come in the door, you speak, and if you say, hey, you know what, the game on, I turn the game on for you, whatever, your food in my way, I'm going to go upstairs and chill out. If you want me to come down with, like, you know what I mean? Like, give up something for him. You know?
Yeah, so.
Go ahead.
I think that's a little,
I don't think it's ungrateful, though.
I don't think it's ungrateful at all. I was asking what the perception might be from a man. You know,
that's
because
what I'm saying. Like, that's
honestly,
how we
because
feel.
I hear a lot of men.
We want you there, but we want you to shut the fuck up too.
Right.
I'm saying, let me come in and watch the basketball game.
Right.
Like, I don't need you to be like,
so when I say grateful, the reason I ask, especially coming from, you know, a man, just want to know your perception is because I know a lot of women are, especially Muslim, you know, or even but Muslim, I'm gonna just say because we're Muslim and we raised in, you know, the Muslim community. A lot of women a lot of sisters may be thinking, well, damned if I do, damned if I don't. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to hold him accountable for what I believe. Not just I believe. Like a lot of sisters know that Quran, they know the Hadith, and they know their rights, and they are holding their man accountable based upon that, and they're holding themselves accountable based upon that to the letter. So if they're not getting exactly what they believe they deserve, or they know that they deserve account like to the T and with the I dotted and all of that, then they're holding it a certain way.
Did you know Islamically that a woman is not allowed to spend her money freely without talking to her husband?
Hold on.
See what I'm saying? So see, that's what I'm saying. So listen what I'm saying.
No,
listen.
I don't.
We're gonna have some problems.
That's what I'm saying. This is the problem. Like
No,
when
yes,
you start tapping in, like how you talking about crossing your T's and dotting your I's. These are some of the things that's what I'm saying. Like people don't know a lot of this stuff. Unfortunately, in our community, whether it's this city, it's Philly, it's ATL, it's New York, it's Jersey, it doesn't matter. A lot of the stuff that's being done on the men and the women's side is out of ignorance. It's done out of ignorance and not having that full understanding.
Right.
That's why it's like, yo, when we get together, we need to have a conversation. How is this going to work? Because you just automatically assume, are you coming from your parents' house? Am I coming from my parents' house? Or am I coming from my own place and you coming from your own place? And that's why I made that presentation. That offer up and was like, yo, it's permissible to do. Yo, you stay where you at. I'm going to stay where I'm at. We're going to do this for about a year and we're going to see whether or not we yoking, because we may not be yoking, because you can't grind with everybody the same way that you can grind with somebody else, because some people do not understand the importance of financial cooperation. And that is a big thing inside of these communities across the board. Now, some of those communities, like you mentioned, you know, for other races, it's a little bit different. It's just a thing of, you just do this and I'm going to stay house. But then you don't want to talk about the other things that's going on inside those other communities where the men beating the hell out of the women on a regular basis. And that's the problem. So, again, when you're looking at finances in marriage, we need to be looking like this 280. We need to be doing stuff in a joint manner and stop just being selfish. Again, if I take from you and all you do is work.
Right, but wait, Charlie, but do you think, okay, wait, real quick, I want to ask this question. No, I want to ask a question, but somebody else did ask the question. Okay. Brother Jay, what's up, Jay? You know, we give you love. Jay is definitely a brother and a friend of the Playhouse. But Jay said, and my boo is watching. Hey, boo. Okay, but Jay said, should the dowry reflect how the woman feels about her potential husband? So,
do you want me to answer the question?
Should the dowry reflect how the woman feels about her potential husband?
How she feels
about him.
Like, meaning like whether or not he's capable as
I would think, yeah.
Okay, so again, you're going to look at the same thing. And again, it's coming from a guy's point of view. Don't have to like it. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. So here's the thing. If she feels like, if she feel like he can afford it, why? Why do you think like?
Because you know what? A lot of sisters will say, because you have a time period, right? I know some sisters have told me that they have like within a year or 2 years or something like that.
If it's
right?
not, so here's the thing.
Tell I never got a dowry.
Listen,
but
so,
you know what I mean.
I told a nigga $2.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with that.
That's
nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna buy blunts with it. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's nothing wrong with that. But see, here's what I'm saying. It can be, I forgot the particular term or whatever. It can be delayed for a year or two. If there's no time frame put on it, then there's just no time frame put on it. It doesn't necessarily mean you should push to get it because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Right.
But it's no particular time frame on it. But again, even with what you just asked, okay, if you feel like with my $700,
you're capable. Like you're capable.
Right. So if that's what you feel like, my follow up is going to be, okay, I'm glad that you feel that way, but why should I just give you $5,000 or $10,000?
Can you question the sister's dowry?
Yes, you can, and that's another. Yo, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, people be like, I'm
Because
telling you, it's
I thought
ignorance.
that the dowry was, it is ignorance, because for me, I ain't never get one. But I honestly, and I was too young to even understand any of that when I got married, but I honestly thought that the dowry was whatever the woman desired. Like, whatever she wanted, she could say, this is what I want. Because I know some sisters who's asked for a house, expensive cars. I know, sisters that have asked for extremely expensive things. So even down to him saying, like, should it be something that how the sister feels like, I personally think, like, if this sister, let's just say she marrying a brother who is becoming a boxer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he just knocked out maybe one or two people. He getting up the rank a little bit, but his potential is that he gonna be the world's greatest boxer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the potential was there that, like, you know what, he probably really is gonna be able to afford this. Is it wrong of her to ask?
It's not. So here's another thing. It's not. She can ask whatever she want to ask for. She can ask for a piece of the moon if she want to ask for it. That don't mean that guy is obligated to get it, because he can easily counter that and be like, well, I can't give you a piece of that moon, but I can take you down to Patapsco Park and get you one of them rocks over there by the river. Real talk. He's not obligated to do that. She can ask for what she want to ask, but then it's going to go back into kind of like what she said. Like, she was like, well, hey, in my previous relationship, this is what I asked for.
Yeah.
I'm not saying sisters have to lower what they ask for in their diaries. I'm simply saying, why do you want to come in and say, well, I'm good, I don't really need nothing for a man, and you feel like you are an entrepreneur, you feel like you self-sustaining, and all this other stuff. If you ask for that, you can ask for that. More power to you. That's none of
Okay.
that's fine. But it don't necessarily mean that you are, one, going to get it, and then two, it also means that
but
he
you
can
signing
actually
off on it, right?
That's what I'm saying. No, he don't have to sign off on that. He can walk away. He don't have to agree
what I'm
to
saying
that.
is, but if you get married, once you are committed to getting married, once you're committing to getting married, you are saying, this is what I want to do, right? This and this is what I'm agreeing to. I'm agreeing to $40,000, so once you're married, that's it and that's all. Not when, like, you. That's what I'm saying. I want to understand this, right? Because of course I'm ignorant to this. When you.
No, I'm saying I understand the question. You are ignorant. That's why we having the topic, right?
You're right, but
Damn,
don't
take
Johnny
it offense like, oh, just call me ignorant.
Okay, get him, Bray. Bae, you hear that? Get him when you see him. But no, if you say, if you really want to marry, you wouldn't ask for something easy. You would ask for something. You wouldn't ask for something easy to provide. The higher the price, the lower the level of love. Wait.
What was that comment?
If you really want to marry, you wouldn't ask. Oh wait, if you really want to, I'm sorry, I'm reading this so many times. I got cracks in my iPad, y'all.
That's because
if you really want to marry, wouldn't you ask for something easy to provide? The higher the price, the lower the level of love, in my opinion.
Whoever said that, I don't know who it is. Kudos to you, but that makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to.
This brother Jay.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. No, listen to what I'm saying. Because here's the thing. Why do you want to come in and it doesn't matter what it is? Because unless
you should just be wanting to get married.
And what I'm saying is, if you want more, then you can get more as we build together.
Why
would you want to put a hardship on me, and then as we going through the whole joint, I'm only making with my $500 a month or every other week. I'm struggling trying to put 25. So
let me say something to the brothers that are out here posting videos and always with the big stacks of cash.
Because I be looking and I be plotting.
Listen, you can't come to the table with the concept of what Brother Jolly is saying right now. You can't come to the table like, listen, don't expect much, because you boasting about what you got. You showing what you got. If you want a humble bride, humble yourself. Humble yourself, then your bride could be humble. Because I do believe that if you want to get married and you want companionship and you want a marriage, then you should go into the marriage with the expectations of, you know what, let me not make it hard for my husband. Let me make it something easy so that we can just work on us, so that we can work on our marriage, so that we can work on our life together and we can build together. Because another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put a burden on him that's a financial burden, that he done took out loans, done borrowed money from the guy around the corner, and done did all kinds of things
on his ass.
you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So I do agree with what you're saying. The diary should definitely be something that is manageable, not something that is harsh. And honestly, you know, when I started the show and I started talking about how money is the root to all evil, and money is one of the reasons like that marriages and relationships fall apart sometimes, it's the misunderstanding, the bad communication about money and the management and all of that I believe allows the marriage or the relationship to fall apart. So in the very beginning, in Islam, for those that are watching that are not Muslim, that could be new to the show, let me just enlighten you. In Islam, you know, you don't just marry somebody that you've been with for a long time. You court, you date with a guardian, and then you guys pretty much get married. You know, so it's not a long relationship like in Christianity or in other religions where you may court the person and you know this person got a good job, I know what's in this person's pockets. It's a different situation. So in that beginning, when you having that communication and you are talking about marriage and talking about getting married, then the financial part should be something that should be talked about and agreed upon, and y'all should have a understanding even on your expectations. Because what you were saying about like contributing to the household, that should be a part of the conversation.
But that's the thing, though, sis. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, I'm having these conversations with people, and that's not the case. Like, okay, again.
Wait, what's not the case, that the conversations aren't being had?
Well, that as well as the whole moving things jointly, because if you look at all these different religions, right, and you look at what they're saying, they talk about pretty much the man still has that position, but you have expectations of the sisters or the wives in those households. And
just as well as the men.
Well, I just said that. I said if the man is leaves.
That I think is why you have those.
But that's what I'm saying, sis. I don't feel like no man should come in and be like, yo, after X amount of time, I'm gonna remove your independence. Yo, I'm not trying to do that, yo. Like, brother's not
You're just trying to
do
give
that.
some
Like,
security.
yeah,
give
like,
some security.
Yeah, like,
I saw a video during the winter, right, where this woman was outside shoveling the snow, and the man was on. He woke up, and so he's on the doorbell ring camera yelling like, "Babe, what are you doing?" And she was like, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" He was like, "What the heck are you doing?" She's like, "I'm shoveling the snow. It's a blizzard." So he is like, "Get in the house. You don't shovel the snow. We're married. I shovel the snow." And she's like, "I've been shoveling the snow my whole life. What are you talking about?" So he had to like get dressed to get out there and carry her back in the house because she refused to stop shoveling the snow because she's been doing her whole life. And he was like, "You have a husband now. I'm your husband. I'm your man. I love you. I don't want you shoveling the snow." And I love that video because
somebody I know, they used to always do this thing that annoyed the hell out of me. It would be like, "Oh well, let's not drive yours. Let's drive mine," with the understanding that
it's mine.
No, that hers, right, is on E. Knowing that I'm gonna hop in that and be like, "I'm gonna go get some gas because," but
I ain't gonna lie,
listen,
if I had that, I'd be doing the same thing.
But listen, it'd be like, but you're doing it like, and again, and this is all part of growth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That okay, I'm doing this because I don't want to pump gas. That nigga should be pumping gas. Yeah. Like, yo, it'd be so crazy. I used to be like, yo, why did I have, like, okay, I get it. Okay, oh, what you doing? Chilling. Oh, could you meet me at the gas station? Yo, what the, like, yo, what's, like, go get some gas. Like, what the,
yeah.
But again, you talk about growth, so, you know, you try to do these little small things. And that's the thing, like, when you you make mistakes or you make certain decisions and stuff like that or whatever. You can learn from these decisions. You can learn from mistakes and stuff like that. Like I like, oh, okay, so. But again, everything goes back to you working together. Somebody I used to know, they made it a business. Like, I mean, you talking about a whole money jar. Like, literally, like a money jar, like couple hundred. Oh, every week it's going to be this. I'm going to pull it from savings. I'm going to pull it from here. I borrow this shit until I get paid. Like, everybody has a different level of maturity. Everybody has a different level of
and their car was on E.
Yeah.
And I would say that would be your responsibility. But in a relationship, if we're together in a partnership,
I didn't. I made mention of that because I didn't fully understand. Like, it used to annoy the hell out of me.
Right. So, but it wouldn't annoy you now because of the growth.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because of the growth. Because I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah. But again, it's like, now I'm not saying they didn't never put gas in that car. I'm just saying like that was just a scenario. And I didn't.
So would it not annoy you though if the person was like, okay, we can take your car today. Let me fill your tank.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, but see, that's how it is. Because I got a question for you. Got a question for her. So let me ask you this, or even if they want to chime in and say something, because we still got time. Mm-hmm. So let me ask this: how would you feel if your spouse came to you and said, I do have something saved up, not for us, but I have something saved up with my little kitty. I need to put in time to take off 2 weeks or 3 weeks on a mental health tip. Can you step up to the plate? How do y'all feel about that? Like, are y'all sisters willing to be like, all right, yeah? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, I see people posting stuff like, oh, well, he got to come with this, and he got to make sure he got this, and da-da. So it's like, okay, so how do you
let me answer
back?
this, right? Okay, first, let me just acknowledge my sister, Sandra. She said, I was told to ask for anything. I was surprised by it because I was a Muslim at the time, and I was reassured that anything, had I known the seriousness of it, I would have never asked for what I asked for. I would have just been I was just happy to marry him. Okay. Wonderful.
That's amicable. Like,
love that. And Sister Hadaya, assalamu alaikum. Well, wa alaikum assalam. She sends her salam.
You can always recant that gift, Sister Sandra, if you like. I'm just saying she could. She can amend it. She could. It gotta
you
be
can
on
amend
paper,
it.
But she could. I'm just saying. If she feel like if she feel like whatever it is, I'm saying, like, I don't know what it is. That's between her and her husband. But I'm just saying, if she feel like he hasn't attained that yet, she could ask for something a little bit, less. And she could possibly be granted it. I'm just saying.
And then Sister Hadaya said,
he's starting shit, y'all.
Sister Hadaya, she can let him go. But Sister Hadaya said how a man is supposed to treat a woman and protect her. And because we are Muslim, we follow different protocols, and it's different because as women, because we as women are taught not to depend on anyone or deprive us from being independent. We will learn to grow from our mistakes and the lessons we understanding each other. Job on both. Okay, I thought it was a question, but yes, I agree to that.
And that's what I said. Remember earlier I mentioned independence. Like, nobody's trying to take that away. Like, why would you not want somebody who can be able to go out there on their own? Because that just shows me that, okay, the same way how you're expecting me to handle our fads or most of our fads or some or half or a quarter, I'm expecting you to be able to hold your home. I want you to be able to hold your home because guess what? You know just as much as I know.
Right.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Absolutely.
And when I'm no longer here, how are you going to be? And that's the problem with what you were saying earlier. Like, some people had this understanding, like, oh, well, you just stay home.
Right,
so when the Most High come from my soul, the angel of death come for me, what you going to do because you was relying on my $1,800 a month. And we never built anything jointly.
Right.
Same thing with the life insurance. People be slipping.
So let me answer your question. I thought I heard. Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me answer your question. Because that kind of goes into like what you're saying right now as well. the mental health, if something was to happen to your mate, right, it's important, which is why it is important to not be home doing absolutely nothing, because if something was to happen to your mate, you have to be able to pick up and not fall apart. You know what I mean? You already going to emotionally fall apart, but you got to be able to pick up and take care of things. So if my mate came to me, because you asked me the question and the viewers. So if my mate came to me and said to me, I need to take off for mental health. I got a little something put up aside, but can you step up to the plate? Don't do it. But absolutely, I'm joking back. But no, absolutely, I would step up to the plate because mental health is everything, and it's important that she take that time to get herself together. But I'm also prepared to step up to the plate. I'm also making sure that if anything happens, I got a rainy day set aside so that she'll be okay if something was to happen. I think every couple should have that set aside because you never know what's going to happen.
Mm.
And a mental health break is just like something happening to you. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
you're actually expressing, like, instead of just going and jumping off a bridge, which I pray Allah never allows that to happen to any of us. Instead of that happening, you're actually taking the time to say, like, listen, I need a break. So it would be only right that your mate step up to the plate and say, okay, well, go ahead and take, I would definitely go ahead and take that mental health break so that you could be okay. I'm going to go ahead and take over the fort. That's something that also in relationships and in marriages, it's important that you are both um, being there for each other mentally to make sure that each other is okay. And that's why even putting that burden, just imagine putting a burden on somebody in the beginning of a marriage. And we ain't gonna keep going back to the diary, right? But going back to that, but just thinking about that, like it gotta be stressful to think, like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to be able to buy this diary, get this diary for this person, or even the expectations when you getting married and you gotta provide now. Like it's not just you by yourself no more. You gotta pay rent you gotta provide for you and somebody else. So the responsibility of that other person, whether y'all splitting the bill or not, it's still a lot. So putting that on somebody, it challenges their mental health. So I think it's important that people together, if you're in a relationship, that you make sure that you are setting things aside so that God forbid something happen, you're equipped to make sure that things still stay afloat as opposed to everything just falling apart. So that's my answer to that question. I would definitely
appreciate that, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, so one of the other things that I had to tap into was dealing with, fortunately, through the blessings, sometimes when people die. Sometimes when people die in our city, and it's not just in our city, it's across the community. Um, Sometimes what happens is um, you don't have family, you don't have friends. So, sometimes what happens is um, when you don't have friends and stuff like that, and you don't have those family, you need people to come and deal with the deceased person and stuff like that. And I've seen it many a times where um, multiple people they pass and they don't have anybody to deal with their bodies. You got sisters out here who want to be buried as Muslims, regardless of how you live, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about how you go in front of your Lord too. And unfortunately, people don't have things to put in that place. It's been brothers in this community, sisters in this community who passed. They were practicing Islam, and they were simply buried as non-Muslim because, which they're going to have, the deceased person is going to have to answer for that too. Like, not the community, not your friends, you, even if you're in a relationship, and that's why I was going to go back into joint, because if you're in a relationship, if you work out something where it's okay, financially, I got this put aside for you, or financially, I know that you got a policy, or vice versa, whatever the case, you got to be responsible for that on your own. But if you have a conversation, you say, hey, look, because you can get as many life insurance policies you want. Mm-hmm. You say, hey, let's go put this aside for us. Let's go put this aside for you, stuff like that. People don't think about that. People be out here popping bottles, buying brand new cars, clothes, jewelry, all these things. And oftentimes what happened is, they died, and who gonna bury them? And you broke, so you didn't put nothing in place. Going back to what you were saying about the person who just want to sit in the house and chill out, you ain't put nothing in place for him. You didn't try to work for anything. So what do y'all have? You don't have nothing. You got a roughly $100 bill that he got to be paid, and then you go into the community, asking the community to help you bury your child, bury your spouse, bury your whoever, but you don't have the money.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's why it's important to like attempt to put these things aside. And just real quick, even when you look at the sisters, because I know we're running up on time. Even when you look at the sister, if you are a person who feels like you are financially at this level, we're not even having this conversation because obviously you need a brother who is at that level. You understand what I'm saying? Why would you try to go and get a brother who is at a different level than you financially? Maybe you didn't need to look for that. But a lot of times with the issues that we all have, talking about myself first, you're not really, you might be making this. Well, look at the baggage. Look at where you came from. You're no longer. And when I say where you come from, I mean like maybe you've been in an abusive relationship. Why would a brother who's never been in a relationship and is where you're at financially want to even say, I'm going to roll the dice with this? So at times we got to start looking at ourselves and saying, you know what, this is the level I'm at. Sometimes
that's why I said accountability.
That's what I'm saying. People get into relationships and they find out like, damn, I should have never married this person. But it's too late. You in it. So you got to work with what you got to work with. Yeah. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, nobody want to talk about those things either.
Yeah, so the accountability is everything. But I also want to know.
And patience.
And patience is everything as well. But I also want to know, in a relationship, for a man, right? Because the man is supposed to be the provider. In every card we read, okay, in every card we read tonight, it said the man is supposed to be the provider, right? The woman, of course, should contribute and should be holding it down. It should be a 50-50, I believe. But is a man willing to allow...
You say that. She ain't talking about the sister.
I'm not talking about a carrot either, say.
No, but I get what you're saying. No, like, it makes sense, especially in the society.
But it does. But even talking about going deep as to not just the bills, not just the lifestyle, but even planning ahead, right? I know my mother was super good with finances, right, and with money management. So money management is something that's super important, right? And if a woman, that's something that's another thing that you can contribute. If you're a housewife, if you somebody that you're home and you don't have a 9-to-5, money management is super important in helping your relationship stay afloat, right? But how many men? How many head of the households, and I say head of the households by the person who feels like they're the head of the household because they're the ones that bring in all the paper, right? Or the most paper. How many people are okay with the woman or the other mate having the money management and making sure and telling you like this is what we need to do? Because if you have something happen, whether you need to take a mental health break or whether something happens to you and you go in the hospital and you're away for a while, or God forbid, well, we all going to leave this world one day, but when you leave this world, if you leave the world before your mate, the money management part is important too. So that's something I wanted to talk about as well. Like, how many people are comfortable with having your mate be that money management person, money manager of the finances, to say, listen, $5 is going towards our life insurance. $10 is going towards the burial. $20 is going towards the kids' college fund. Every month, like, this is what's happening. Like, are you comfortable with your mate doing that?
So here's the thing.
Or does she have to bring money to the table in order to do it?
No. Here's the thing. So that is a form of you making a contribution. But if you're saying, hey, I'm not trying to, because here's the thing. If I'm paying $1,800 a month for rent, and you paying $1,800 a month for rent, and we meet, and I say, okay, let's find somewhere where we're paying $1,800 a month for one place, right? Maybe it's a 2-bedroom. Maybe it's a better location. Maybe it's a better inside house, renovation wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I come to you and say, look, this rent is the same amount what you pay, the same amount what I'm paying, right?
Right.
I'm gonna put up 1,200. Now I'm saving 6, right? My number's right, right. You're saving more than $600 a month. So now you can say, okay, he's saving 6, I'm saving this.
Mm-hmm.
I can do whatever. I can straighten out my credit, I can straighten out bills, I can pay this off, pay my phone off, whatever. And then on top of that, I'm gonna put this extra $100 up a month because he is contributing more. I'm gonna put this extra $100 a month for us to surprise him, let him know, like, hey, listen, I appreciate all your hard effort, stuff like that. Like,
right.
Plan it out. That's okay, right? But how you gonna come to me and start talking to me about you want me to pay all this? You're not trying to help contribute enough. Financially, hold on. I'm about to answer you quick. Let me cook.
Go ahead, cook it up. Wait, Samaya, please plug this up before it be cooked off. Yeah, to the pink cord. Take the pink one. I'm sorry.
So my thing is this: if I come correct with all this, and I'm holding it down, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to try to convince me that you got money management skills, because I might be a guy. Hold on. Let me say. It's gonna be kind of hard when I sit back and I say, well,
he's boiling right now.
You never owned a house. I'm not saying me. I know a couple guys. You never owned a house. I own 3 and still have 2. You don't own a pot to piss in. You're renting that pot. You don't have a window to throw it out of because it's one of those real estate properties. Or how can you tell me how to manage my money when you never even achieved this level? Now you can say, oh, well, I'm working through it and stuff like that. That's not really showing me better than you can tell me, right? Because you want to be confident that you about to trust your spouse with managing your funds, right?
That's true.
But their biggest level of success is a $75,000 fucking car. I'm sorry, that's not success to me. And then when you talk about, like, okay, I know people, you got people with 401ks and stuff, right? Okay, not knocking people with 401ks. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But then when a brother got a whole $50,000 crypto portfolio that he's been investing in for the past 10 years, again, does your 401k and that stack up? No, because your 401k and this and that. All I'm saying is, when you say you want to come with money management skills, I need to see how you want. There's not many people I trust with managing my money.
Okay, I get that, right.
I just feel like that. Like, I need to see. Where's your resume on you good with money management?
Okay. Okay, listen. Are y'all looking for resumes through your mate? If your mate is good enough to secure and I don't think that they shouldn't have some money management skills. Don't get me wrong. But if you have chosen this person to be your mate, your partner in life, then that means you have chosen to be with this person in life. So if they don't have the skills, then you need to teach them the skills. But you can't say, I don't trust you completely. Wait, no.
Because again,
I just thought about something.
That's what I'm saying. You never said. Yo, listen.
Wait a minute now, because I do get. I'm not going. Okay, you know what? I was trying to butter that up, but he ain't wrong with this one. Dang, Jolly, you ain't wrong with this one.
I'm
because
just
you
saying,
can't. Even if you are in love, you can't be dumb in love, and you can't be stupid in love.
You said it way back when.
Yeah, like you can't do that. So it is kind of asshole-ish if you think that you're going to give your mate the opportunity to just be completely managing your money, and And you can't say they don't got a pot to piss out or a window to throw out of because they in the pot with you.
But no, I'm saying coming in.
No, but I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, coming in the door.
Come with your own
and not only that, and I do think you do gotta have like a little bit of, you gotta have a little bit of success because like he said, like if you had 3 houses, like you have money management, you can see that this is what I have, and then over here you don't see much of nothing but Burberry bags. Is that a thing? Burberry. You know I ain't Burberry. She said, "Who the fuck is Burberry?" But Burberry bags and Coach bags, and that's all I see. Then it's a little mismanagement with the money.
That's
so
what
you
I'm
can't.
saying.
Okay, I got you.
And
I feel
listen,
you.
I'm not saying that.
That's when
like
you
you
wearing
said.
your money though.
That's what. Yeah, but that's
But
not.
I don't want to wear my
like,
money all the time. Not unless we got what we need.
I
So I do believe. Okay, so I believe so in that aspect, okay, because he took it all the way around. He took it there, but in that aspect, I would say that now it's important for you to teach money management because somebody got to be able to be managing the money effectively to where you don't have that situation. And if that's your partner in life, then you need to make sure your partner is up on game make sure your partner got it together.
And I get that part
Let
too.
them feel less
Like I want to educate you.
Right.
I want to educate you. If I'm that person that's great with money management skills. And again, I don't listen.
If not, then take a class. Ooh, that should be something. That should be a date night. Do a date night money management class so y'all can get it together.
That. But see, in order to do that, that's what's going to go back to all the other stuff that we talked about in previous weeks, as far as the communication, as well as having that open mind to be able to be taught. Because some people will have a system. You can have a system. Check this out. You can have a system where you go from A to B, and in between A to B, you have accumulated this, you've done 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 this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take me, for example, right? And now I'm getting personal. I said, when I get my passport, this is my thing. The first stamp that I wanted in my passport was doing something, we say feasibility for the sake of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
And for a godly cause or, a cause of worship. I didn't want to just, because it's people that have been this place and this place. And guess what? I'm thankful. The first stamp, that's where it's at. My first stamp, listen, I caught that plane and I, boop, and now I'm like, all right, now I can do that stuff. But that's because I'm not concerned about, I need to go to cakes and turks, whatever it's called, cakes and turks is whatever it's called. I don't need to go down to this place. I don't need to go over to Jamaica. I don't need to, I'm not concerned with that. I wanted it to be this because at the end of the day, I feared me getting to the point where I'm at in my life, and I'm still not comfortable financially, but getting to the point where I'm at in my life, and God taking my soul, and I'm down here acting like I ain't got no common sense or nothing. So now, that's what I can do. Other people, they may feel like, yo, every year I got to go somewhere. Every year I want to do this. Every year. I don't believe in that stuff. I believe in setting yourself. It was this thing. It says some people will plan a whole year to spend money or to go on a vacation, but not plan a whole year for their future.
Oh, wow. Now, that is true. That is true, because I know a lot of people like that. I'm just going to say, I know a lot of people that really will really, because a lot of people, I think, are living for the now and not living for, and thinking like, I have to take advantage of today and not, and even though you're thinking about tomorrow, they're thinking about like, but what about today? And I think, like for me, even for me, I'm going to say, personally, I've always lived for the future, right? Mm-hmm. But watching my mom lose her life, and reflecting on her life, by Allah's mercy, my mom had a beautiful life. But my mom never took a vacation. So, for me, it's like, whoa. Like, it's a hitter because it's like my mom was planning her vacation after her retirement, but her vacation was going to be with her family. Mm-hmm. And that was huge for her. So, but she never got to do that. So, it's like, whoa, I cannot not do things, but at the same time now I know I got to implement my vacations, but I also have to still make sure that my future has, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So
because-
being able to put them together
Because
is
you don't
important.
need to. You don't. You, see, the thing is, when people go to these places and stuff like that, I don't knock people who go.
Right.
But you don't. Those are. You're doing. This is like, okay. People talk about Miami. I used to live in Florida. Okay.
Mm.
I don't. Who the hell cares about what the hell?
Yeah, I
is
went
so,
to Florida too, and I was like, why are people coming here? Honestly, for me, I was just like, what is going on? Why are
I'd
people
rather
coming here?
go somewhere.
Yeah,
like you don't have to when you go on vacation. Like you don't have to have like this big. You can say, okay, this is that and third. Because here's the thing: if you got the latest iPhone, you know how much the iPhone costs, right? You can lower your bill, and it's not substantial. But when you factor in the months and stuff like that, that they hitting you, as opposed to like I'm gonna work this 1 month hard in the hole, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I should be good on this next couple months, and then I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna bang out this one credit card. I'm gonna actually put it on hold. I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna bang it. Like just do that for a year, and then go the next year on the vacation. Like you don't need to go that hard.
Let's talk about red flags real quick before we
All
get
right.
out of here. Okay, red flags, right? That you might be in a situation where or in with someone who might just not have good money management skills. The first red flag is taking
The casino. That's a fucking red flag.
Casino
I don't
is a
like
definite.
it.
Okay,
That's a
the
red
casino
flag.
is bad.
I didn't.
I've never been a fan of the casino. Like
I'm trying to tell you.
any type of spending money where you think you won't get a return but don't. Like, oh my gosh, those
Listen.
people that are at the not knocking y'all, but those hustlers out here that are flipping them old messed up cars.
Oh,
Red flag, psych, just kidding. JK, no
tax
seriously.
time red
No,
flag.
but red flags are, someone who is spending money that they don't have. Somebody and when I say spending money that they don't have, if you're dating somebody and that person is I don't want to talk about people.
No, talk about them. Tell them. They got to hit.
No.
We want the mess.
If you're dating somebody,
sorry.
this is the good one. This is the good show. That's why I like talk dirty with y'all because they light. But if you're dating somebody honestly and they are living in an apartment, this is not knocking anybody that's living in an apartment. But they living in an apartment and they hate their apartment. Let's say that, and they hate their apartment and they can't wait to be able to move into something better. But they are partying every Friday and Saturday, spending money, going out. You see them at the seafood restaurants, at the lounges. They got they shopping every week. But their goal is to be in a better apartment. But they just spending crazy. And you ask them, hey, well, what's your plan? I mean, hopefully I get a better job, or hopefully I get some money, or hopefully I hit the lottery. Red flag. That's bad money management, I personally think, because somebody that is somewhere that they don't want to be, if you're dating them, they're either waiting for you to be able to take them to a better place, move them into somewhere better. They looking to upgrade. They looking for you to upgrade them, or they not really serious about upgrading themselves because their money management is clearly off. So spending recklessly and spending carelessly are red flags. And I believe in marriages and in relationships, once you graduate to that, then it only gets worse. It only gets worse. Okay, what's a red flag for you? And wait, what's my little card talking about? What's his name? What's a red flag? I did one, you do one.
All right, yep. Because I already know we hitting that mark. So a red flag to me financially is similar to not necessarily the casino, but when you're in that court stage or whatever, and all you see is just stuff everywhere, but you see no organization. Without organization, you have chaos. So we in that corner stage, whether I'm with your peoples or not or whatever, and we talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, do you mind if one day I just pop up or whatever, and yeah, or one of those people who you always timing with, and they be like this, and now be like, why you walking around your house like yeah?
So wait a second, though. Hold on.
No organization.
But there's no organization in their household. Do you think there's no organization in their bank account either?
Yes,
Like,
I would believe so because listen, some people are very meticulous
okay.
and they understand that I gotta have this stuff so that when I get married, I can
the ingredients to the recipe of a healthy relationship is just basically splitting everything 50-50. Everybody vote. Do you think that the ingredients to the recipe of a healthy relationship, marriage, whatever, is splitting the bill 50-50?
I don't think it's necessary. Well, y'all say what y'all say. Y'all can chime in, but I don't think it's 50-50. Like, as a man, I feel obligated to do more than you. Now, what that obligation is, or what a sister may feel that obligation is, that's when you start to tap in two different stories. I feel as a man, we should be obligated to do more. I just don't feel the 50-50, but I also don't feel like I got to come into your life and you supposed to just make my life miraculous and I take care of everything. That's my opinion.
Okay, listen, 40% of marriages break up over marriage.
That's tough. Money, you mean?
I mean, over money. There you go. Thank you. He said that's tough.
Oh, I was tired.
He said, thought I was tired. Listen, I was looking at like the most expensive divorces, right, over money. Bill Gates' wife got $86.7 billion. $86.7 billion in their divorce.
She's smart.
$86.7 billion in the divorce.
Johnny Depp and his.
Oh, man, what the?
I ain't even see them.
Yeah.
But other again, that when I was looking up the statistics, that came up. Bill Gates' divorce settlement was $86.7 billion, and I just thought that was mind blowing. But I think the way to a healthy, I'm not gonna say it's 50-50, but I think the way to a healthy relationship would be a marriage when it comes to money is what we have said in every show that we have had. Communication is everything. Mm-hmm. And being honest about your finances, being honest about what you have, what you can do and what you can't do is super important because sometimes you have high expectations for yourself and it may be a little embarrassing for you to say like, you know what, I really can't do this, or I really can't afford this, or I might not be able to do this. You know what I mean? Like, you want to live in a condo, but you don't have condo money. But the person that you want to be with want to live in a condo. So now you splurging yourself to live in a condo, and now y'all are happy. The only way to stay happy is to communicate effectively and to make sure that you are trusting your partner and help them. Because you said if they can't manage money properly, then guess what? You got to teach each other. It's a partnership.
Yeah,
you got to work on it together.
Working together, but that's the thing. Like, we have to work together. We can't keep going into these marriages and wonder why they found like, okay, it's not working, it's not this, it's not that, or whatever. You know, it's sisters that I've seen or talked to, and it's like, the brother was crazy 6 months ago. Why you thought he's crazy? Y'all didn't really address it. He didn't seek mental help. You thought that the crazy wasn't gonna change? No, like if he didn't seek any help,
he's still gonna be crazy. Nothing's gonna change. He didn't get any medicine. He didn't get any help.
It's destined to fail at that point when we're not seeking the proper assistance and attention that we need in these relationships. If it's going to fail, why continue to push out finances with somebody, male or female, and it's like, yo, this shit is failing. Like, it's failing. Let it go.
So be accountable and be realistic.
But
be accountable and realistic.
So we coming up on time.
Yeah. So we are so happy to have had this dope conversation. Yeah. You definitely brought a lot of jewels to the table, a lot of ingredients to the table tonight. I tried to. Can't even lie. The recipe definitely was cooking.
I know some of y'all think I'm a bastard on it, but
they do.
I just be trying to put it out there.
But he be coming with some facts lately, so can't even be mad at you.
Without time running out, I'm just gonna say this. You know, some of the stuff that I said, it may possibly anger some people who watch this. It may not. I don't know. Again, I'm speaking from experience, personal experience. stuff that I'm having conversations with, stuff that across my past. Social media is a lot of people out there, who you be friends with on social media, and you see stuff come across your timeline and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then I'm also, speaking from, where I'm at and moving through the community and stuff like that. Um, if you have a personal feeling about what I said, then just don't watch the show. And for
Yeah,
those
I
who
don't
are
think-
watching
Oh,
the
wow.
show, we appreciate
Okay.
y'all watching
We
the
do
show.
appreciate y'all. Well, let me tell you, I wanted to have this conversation. Jolly brought up this topic, but one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation and I felt like it was necessary is because I do know, for me, money management is important. And it has definitely been the make or break of past relationships. And I know that it's important for a relationship to stay healthy if you have good money management and that communication about the money. So I wanted to talk about this. And I don't even feel like we talked enough about it, but we talked enough about it. So I'm going to definitely say, I'm grateful that God has blessed me now to be able to understand the importance of managing your money wisely, because in a relationship, because in order for you to have a healthy relationship, and God has blessed me to have a healthy relationship now, it's because I understand the importance of money management and being honest with my mate about what I can do, what I can't do, what my expectations of her are, and what her expectations of me are. So when you are in a relationship, if you're looking for it to work, be honest, be authentic, be real about what your expectations are, be real about what you want, and what you can and cannot do. What you might want to do and what you can do might be two different things. So just be honest about what you can do. Thank you, Bria, for coming and chilling with us tonight. Brother Jolly, I'm so happy that you are co-hosting with me. It is always a pleasure for us to chop it up together. I absolutely love putting these recipes together, and tonight's recipe was the recipe to a happy, healthy relationship with money management, and that's understanding.
Yep, and one last thing too. Next week's topic.
Oh, definitely.
We're not gonna get into it because we literally got a minute and 30 seconds and counting. But next week's topic, real quick, it's about the trauma, and we're gonna be discussing some of the stories about some of the trauma that people went through.
Not just
in
trauma,
the
but
community.
sexual trauma.
Yeah, because that's even worse, you know what I mean? Because what happened, put an everlasting, if the person doesn't get it addressed, it's going to put an everlasting situation on it. I'm sure it's not just here in Baltimore City, it's other states, it's
Absolutely.
other cities that these things have happened about. You got, people touching the stepdaughters, you got, the guys doing stuff with the little boys in the community and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of the stuff you can even go on your local, because people would like register. Oh, listen, it's deep.
It's definitely
It's
deep.
deep.
And honestly, I'm so happy that you and I are able to be able to have this conversation. I'm not sure if you can even see this. I don't think you can see it on all of the social medias, but I know YouTube can see this right now. The Voice of Children Suffering in Silence is an organization that is in my outreach center here in Baltimore City. And I have this up here tonight because I knew that we were going to be talking about this in the ending of our show. Sexual trauma is something that happens to a lot of children. And it happens to children, and it becomes a domino effect because those children aren't able to heal and aren't able to process what has happened to them. And it happens in communities like ours all the time. However, it's never really talked about what happens in the Muslim community. It's always hush hush. Now, it's always we see the commercials, the infomercials, we see it on Instagram, Facebook, and on TV about the priest that touched a child, or about what happened in the Catholic Church, or what happened in the school building, or what happened in somebody's household. But it's almost, it is taboo to talk about what happens in the Muslim community. And if you have followed me for as many years as I've been going live and doing shows, and I've tapped in a little bit to talk about a lot of things that's happened to me, but I'm grateful that Allah has blessed me with someone that can sit down at the table with me and have this conversation, not just for me, not just with me, but for children who are possibly suffering in silence and going through this now, children who have suffered in silence, adults who are suffering in silence from their childhood traumas. And just anybody. I feel like this conversation is so much bigger than just us.
It is.
But I'm grateful that Allah is allowing us to be able to have this conversation. Don't try to take us out before we had this conversation.
Yeah.
But
You
real
be getting
spill
calls
only
and text messages and all that.
don't
So
do it.
it's gonna get talked about, whether people like it or not. We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about it next week.
it's necessary. So
Yeah.
make sure you guys are tuned in next week as we talk about how Beyonka even came about, because it started with sexual trauma. Our time going to end it. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And wait, make sure you share. Make sure you hit that share button. Share. You share? Did you share? Did you share? Share it. Good night.